Joining me to talk about whether America needs stricter gun controls and how other countries, including India, really compare. We are being joined from the United States by the chair of the Political Science Department at the State University of New York in Cortland, Professor Robert Spitzer. Also from Harvard University, Priya Virmani, who's currently in Kolkata and joining us live from there, and Praveen Swami of the Hindu senior associate editor and keenly informed about India's own arms situation and laws. Professor Spitzer, let's come across to you first. I was just asking my colleague Sarah Jacob about the fact that this is an election year. We're 2 months away from a presidential election, and could this become a very serious issue in the campaign going forward?
Very good question. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, just checking. Yes. It is likely not to be an important issue in this campaign, and that seems surprising given these several incidents of recent mass violence that you've covered very thoroughly in your setup piece. And the reason why is because neither political party sees it in its interest to advance the gun issue. And what has happened in American politics is that incidents of gun violence have been separated or divorced from serious discussions of gun policy. In the past in the United States, these two were pretty closely linked. And you can go back many, many decades in American history and see that in moments where there were significant gun violence, either political assassinations or mass shootings, it did bring the government into the subject, and government often, not always, but often enacted new legislation to try and address some of the gaping holes in America's gun laws. But in the last 10 or 12 years or so, we've seen that that link between gun violence and gun legislation severed. And the reason why, the short reason, is because the two political parties do not see it in their interest to advance the issue. Traditionally, the Democratic Party in America has been the more pro-gun control party, but the Democrats felt that the gun issue and gun advocacy hurt the Democrats in the 2000 presidential election when Al Gore ran against George W. Bush. Gore narrowly lost that election, and Democrats felt that the gun issue hurt them in that race, even though there really isn't any evidence to support that. But that was what they believed. And the Democrats, to try and increase their coalition, began to broaden their base and try and bring into their political party some more conservative Democrats,
right,
including some pro-gun Democrats, and to kind of avoid the gun issue. And on the other side of the coin, you had the Republican Party in power,
right,
which was pushing gun issues. And then you had in 2008 a United States Supreme Court decision, which did create for the first time a personal right to bear arms by civilians, which did not exist because the Second Amendment really talks about militias.
Right. Professor Spitzer, thanks for your detailed comments, because sitting here, when we look at U.S. politics, this is seemingly an obvious question that many of us ask. Priya Virmani, you are at Harvard and you've been looking at some of these issues very closely. The fact that there is a resistance to taking up what is clearly a serious issue. My colleague Aanchal Vora began her report by the NRA's tagline, which is that guns don't kill, people do. The fact that there might be resistance to actually pushing this in spite of the kind of violent crime that one sees in the United States.
A couple of things here. I was at Harvard last month when we saw the very tragic and egregious shootings in Aurora, Colorado, and then that was followed up with the Sikh shootings at the Gurdwara in Wisconsin. And I could sense, along with the outrage and the condemnation alongside, there was this very palpable sense amongst the Americans where they conflate the idea of freedom and liberty still so much with the sense of self-reliance even in the area of defense. And here the right to bear arms and the right to have your own guns and ammunition comes into play. However, we must put things into context here and appraise that when the American Constitution was founded and in the Second Amendment, when the right to bear arms was stipulated, the intention was that of a self-reliant self-defense. But that intention has been completely counteracted in the mindless mass shootings that we see.
Right.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. fully optimized for retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.